I'm going to go straight to our first slide. So thank you for taking the time to meet with us this afternoon. These sessions are normally to be able to provide additional information to the vendors, just to help you navigate through our procurement processes. My name is Patricia Hernandez. I'm the Executive Director for the Procurement Department here at Chicago Public Schools. And with me this afternoon, I have Dr. Valerie Prendergast, who's our community engagement with our Office of Business Diversity. I have her email address here on the screen. She'll talk to you guys a little bit about the Mwbe goals and what their department does. Chicago Public Schools is the third largest school district in the nation with over 350,000 students enrolled in more than 600 schools. Our school system purchases a wide variety of products and services essential for day-to-day operation of our school systems. Organizations or vendors wishing to do business with the district must be registered as a vendor with CPS. There's two ways for you to register as a vendor. One would be for you to obtain a sponsorship request from either a CPS school principal, a network chief, or a department head. This normally applies to vendors who are looking to do smaller procurement with CPS, and our threshold is $25,000 for contracting. So if a school wants to hire you because you sell a product, let's say a book, or maybe you do t-shirts, spirit wear, and they're only going to spend maybe $5,000 a year with you, they can submit a sponsorship request to our procurement office. And once that is approved, you will receive a vendor number and you can proceed in doing business with that school or department head. In these cases, if it's under $25,000, you do not need a contract in order to do business with CPS. The second way that you can get a vendor number with us is if you participate in a public solicitation process, right? So that means when we go out to market and issue a bid, a request for proposal, or a request for qualification for varying commodities or services. And this will mean anything from, furniture, computers, to audit services, the larger talent, human capital management services, our, insurance providers. Anytime the district is going to spend more than $25,000 or is looking for a district-wide initiative, we will go out to market for those services or commodities. And if you respond to a bid, you respond to a request for proposal, if you are awarded that contract, you will receive a CPS vendor number, and you will also sign a legal contract with the district. While vendors in most cases are able to do business with the district without a contract, the benefits of having a contract with CPS includes that there's no spending limit with you as a vendor, right? So if you, for example, if we take something as simple as spirit wear or gym uniforms, we have a contract with various vendors that provide those services to our schools. As a result of a request for qualifications that we issued a few years back. So in that example, the schools can exceed that $25,000 spend limit per year without having to do a competitive process because one was already done, right? So for example, post-COVID, we found that some of our schools have discretionary funds where they're looking to do something for their student body. So, some of the larger high schools, they can easily exceed that $25,000 if they want to buy, a t-shirt for all the student body. They have tie-dye shirts, they have their logos, and it's spirit well, something for the kids to wear to represent their school. Your goods and services, in those cases too, we have a e-commerce marketplace where we have vendors that the schools can go in and shop, kind of like you would shop through Amazon at home. Same concept and same ease of shopping. So if you have a contract with CPS, if you're selling commodities, we would add you to the marketplace, which makes it easier for the schools to find you and to purchase from you. And overall, it's just an easier process for the schools when purchasing from vendors who have been vetted. Part of our contracting processes is, we have a contractor's disclosure form, we have current tax documents from our vendors, we have insurance on file. And, as a result of the public solicitation process, we vetted those vendors to ensure that they have the capacity to be able to provide services or commodities to the entire school district. So it's something easier for the schools when they purchase from contracted vendors versus non-contracted vendors. This next slide, I'm going to turn it over to Valerie to present.
Hi, thanks, Pat. As she stated, I'm Dr. Valerie Prendergast, and I am from the Office of Business Diversity. And our mission is to enhance the economic opportunities for certified minority-owned and women-owned business enterprises in the Chicagoland area by promoting access to procurement opportunities within Chicago public schools. With each contract, CPS seeks to ensure that certain percentages of the work performed are conducted by certified MBEs and WBEs if the primary organization is not one itself. The district goals are 30% MBE and 7% WBE. Acceptable certifications are through the City of Chicago, Cook County, and/or State of Illinois, and in certain cases, there are contract-specific goals. And so that's part of my role with the department, is that I go out and ensure that I am putting the solicitations and conducting outreach to ensure that the information is getting out so that we can get as many minority and women-owned businesses to come and apply for the solicitations for the contracts that we put out.
Thank you, Valerie. This next slide talks about purchase orders and invoicing. So just a reminder that no work should be performed by a vendor or CPS without first receiving a purchase order. This is for your benefit as well as ours. I hate for vendors to provide services and then not be able to get paid for it, right? So sometimes we have change in administration at the school level, even central offices downtown. So it's always, it's an insurance policy for our vendors to make sure that they have a valid purchase order before they perform services or deliver any products. The purchase order is your, pass to make sure that you get paid for the services or commodities that you provided to the district. All invoices should be sent electronically to our accounts payable department at cpsinvoice@cps.edu. The district does not accept paper invoices, and the invoices should not be sent to the school or department that purchased the goods. Any PO inquiry should be raised first with this purchasing school or department. That means the person that ordered the services or commodities from you, and then follow up with our procurement department if you cannot get a resolution at purchasing@cps.edu. And if you have any invoicing or payment inquiries, you can go to accounts payable at their website, accountspayable@cps.edu, or call them at the number listed here. I also want to remind folks that our vendors, we have a iSupplier portal that vendors can register for, and you can log in there and look at the status of your purchase orders and your payments. They'll tell you like when your invoices are actually going to pay out. So I think it's a great tool for our vendors. If they have any inquiries, you can get real-time information through that supplier portal. This next slide just gives you a link where you can go in to look at our current contracting opportunities. I always recommend for vendors to register and go in here to see what's coming up. We also have our sourcing plan on our procurement website, which lists out the upcoming projects for the next 6 months. And that gets updated on a quarterly basis. So I recommend to vendors, if they're looking for certain opportunities to be able to respond to, that you check our website on a regular basis just to make sure you don't miss out on any opportunities. Our Office of Business Diversity also does some outreach to vendors through our B2G software. Our buyers also do some outreach, but just to make sure that you don't miss something, because we can have, an email address for an employee who may no longer be there at that organization. You have some new folks who've come on board. So I always recommend that you check our website on a regular basis just to make sure you do not miss out on anything. And this last slide that we have is just our email, our website address. So it's www.cps.edu/procurement. And I think that's all that's all I have from the CPS side. Sorry about that.
That's okay. Thank you, Patricia and Valerie, for giving us that great information. And again, we will have our vendor fair coming up, which they are in the special edition of the buying plan. So, that's another great way for you to be able to find opportunities that are out or should be coming out. You can find it in the buying plan. So keep up with that as well. And we're going to move along. They'll be back to answer questions. So we were going to move along. We have the City Colleges of Chicago, and our representative for the city colleges is Jacinta Epting. And Jacinta, was I passing the control to you, or was I running your slides? I have forgotten so quickly here.
Sure. You can pass them to me, Jackie. That will be
Great.
fine.
All righty. And you should have control.
Wonderful. So thank you guys so much. I appreciate your time for your time with me this morning or this afternoon, I should say. I'm just making sure that I am sharing the right screen here. So this is screen 2. All right, can you all see my screen?
Yes. The only thing is we need you to make it bigger into presentation form. So you
Okay.
can go
All
to the
right.
bottom or go to
All
the
right.
whichever.
Let me do that right now. My apologies. I'm actually gonna stop this for just 1 second. So
So in an email though.
share. I'm sorry. Go to the instructions in the email. Oh, I
No, I
apologize.
said it's in your. We're looking at your email, so you might
Oh, I
want to
know
turn
you
that
are
off.
now. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. So this is the um I'm sorry, Jackie. Which one should I do to make it in presentation screen and layout?
Go back to where you had it, share your screen again, and go
Mm,
back to where you had it. And then at
Oh,
the very bottom of your presentation,
uh-huh.
you can only do it after you've shared your screen.
Okay, all right. Let me go back to that then. Share
Yeah, Cisco
screen
WebEx is
two.
a little different. All right,
Oh,
at the very bottom next to the minus sign, the icon next to the minus sign at the bottom right-hand corner of your.
mm, okay. Next to the minus sign.
Yes, go next one to the left, to the left.
Okay, right
There
here.
you go, right there.
Oh,
Perfect.
I apologize. I feel like
That's
we've
okay.
done this before.
That's okay.
So,
I'm gonna shut
thank
off my mic and you can take it from here.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us today, and thank you for your patience this afternoon. My apologies for the technical hiccups. So, my name is Jacinta Epting. I'm the Vice Chancellor of Procurement Services at City Colleges of Chicago. This afternoon, we will briefly discuss the overview of City Colleges of Chicago, an overview of our procurement authority, what it means to register as a vendor or supplier, some of our commonly purchased items, and our MWBE requirements. So, I'm sure most of you are aware of the numerous community colleges and the several districts that we have in Illinois, but we are one of the nation's largest community college districts. So, we are not just College of DuPage or a Lake County. We are kind of what you would think about with city universities of New York or some of the community college districts in California or Texas. We have nearly 4,000 faculty and staff and more than 77,000 students that are seeking to further their education. That includes everything from high school equivalency to traditional associate's degrees and certificates to adult continuing education courses. We have 7 campuses that are listed below. We also have a restaurant, Sika, that is a part of the Kennedy King Community College or Washburn Culinary, and we have our radio station. So the colleges are listed below, and a lot of these colleges have very specific, unique focuses, and that matters to you as a vendor because depending upon what commodity goods or services that you offer, certain colleges may be more inclined to need your services than others. So I think a lot of you know about Malcolm X. That's our healthcare center primarily, and so if you are a vendor that offers, medical supplies, things of that nature, which we are all looking for during the thick of COVID. That's a college with representatives that you might want to reach out to. Conversely, if you are a vendor that offers food or utensils or something that is related to culinary, you're reaching out to Kennedy King. If you are a vendor that offers automotive or even things that have to do with aviation, you might want to talk to Olive Harvey College. And so, depending upon the type of service or goods that you offer, because there are only 7 colleges, we encourage you to really take a look at those colleges' web pages to understand what they're offering so that you have a better opportunity to provide goods and services to city colleges of Chicago. All right, so we have certain thresholds here. Um, the first thing that I would say is that we are not a home rule unit of government. We are actually bound to comply with the Illinois Public Community College Act, which is a statute passed by the Illinois General Assembly. Based upon the provisions of that statute, that means that we need to go to board to purchase any good commodity or service that is over $25,000. So I'm starting at that last bullet point just to say that I'm going to talk about some caveats in a minute. Purchases in excess of $25,000, formal competitive bidding and board approval is required. I'm going to say, but stay tuned because there's something more. Right above that, we have what we have that we refer to as our informal bidding. Some city agencies call them small purchases. We actually refer to them as a bid recap here. And so with our bid recap, and this form is available on our procurement webpage for City Colleges of Chicago, purchases $2,500 and up to $25,000, departments and colleges are required to get 3 quotations. And so if someone is looking for let's say some sort of educational materials, or let's say someone is looking to help with some assistance on some sort of marketing or, direct mail, something of that nature. If we don't have a contract that's gone to the board for approval and it's up to $25,000, that college or department can seek to obtain quotations from 3 vendors. In order to ensure that we are looking at our diverse vendor community, our MBE and WBE vendors, we also require the district office or the colleges to solicit a quote from a certified MBE or WBE vendor. And then finally, our lowest threshold, purchases of less than 2,500, competitive bidding is not required per our board policies. And so what that means is that if you offer a good or a service and it's less than $2,500, that college or the district is able just to reach out to you and say, hey, we're looking for, some screen printing on some t-shirts. We don't currently have a city colleges contract that applies across the district. It's for an orientation event. Can you quickly supply us the t-shirts and do, the screen print and it says go OHC, August of 2022. Now, it's important to keep a few things in mind as it relates to these thresholds. One, we kind of talked about earlier how we're different. We're not just, College of DuPage or single institution. And so these thresholds apply across the district, which means if you offer a good or service that multiple colleges are interested in, and say, for example, you've offered something to Kennedy King College, and that's been $2,000, and Malcolm X comes to you and they want something for 2,400, you're going to supply Malcolm X a quote because that $2,500 threshold applies across the district. So it's not college by college or college versus the district. The other thing is that there are some other types of procurement approved methods that are outside of the competitive bidding. So let's go into this purchases in excess of $25,000. We did talk about that anything over 25,000, and again, that's cumulative across the board, requires board approval and competitive bidding. There are some exceptions to our competitive bidding, and those two primary exceptions are going to be for vendors that offer services or goods through a board-approved consortium, or if there is an exception. So the first thing is the exceptions. Um, Again, I mentioned that we are governed by the Illinois Public Community College Act, and that act sets for certain exceptions that does not require competitive bidding. One of the exceptions that comes to mind, for example, is the purchase of food and beverages. So we have Kennedy King College that has the Washburn Culinary Institute. I mentioned the restaurant that they have. To purchase the food for that program, Kennedy King is not required to have a competitive bid. There is an exception, and if they want to purchase over $25,000, we would go to the board, but competitive bidding is not required. And on that note, I will say that if there are any food vendors on the line, we greatly, desperately want you. We're looking to increase our number of vendors that are registered with city colleges, so we hope that you will consider doing business with us. The second type of purchase that is over $25,000 that will require board approval, but would not require a formal competitive bidding is if you are an approved vendor with a consortium. So in accordance with two board reports, city colleges, the Board of Trustees for city colleges has allowed CCC to purchase goods and services from the following consortiums: IPEC, Illinois Higher Public Education Consortium, Omnia, E&I, and Sourcewell. And so if you go through our board reports, you may see from time to time approval to purchase goods and services over $25,000 from those vendors if they are part of one of those approved consortia. Depending upon the types of goods or services that you offer, I would highly recommend that you take a look at those particular consortiums to see if it is worth your while to submit a bid or proposal for any competitive solicitations that they have out. That's a way for you to advertise the goods and services that you offer. And so that city colleges and other government agencies that utilize that particular consortium can purchase your goods or services. So let's talk about our current supplier registration or our vendor registration. So I've been here a little bit over 2 years now, and we are continuing to work on having an automated vendor registration system. Unfortunately, that is still a work in progress, and so we're still very much a paper register with City Colleges of Chicago. Much like Chicago Public Schools, you cannot do work without a PO, and a college or department cannot get a PO to issue you until you have completed the supplier registration or the vendor registration. So as you can see here, um, the vendor registration information is entered into our ERP system, which is PeopleSoft. And we ask that you allow a minimum of 10 business days from entry from the time that we receive a complete vendor packet, right? And the complete vendor packet includes the information that's listed below here in the bullet points. That's the vendor application form, which is 2 pages. Very standard information. We're asking who are you, FEIN number, your officers, banking information, and how you want to receive your payment. It also includes the economic disclosure statement. That is a part of the packet, but it is a separate document. If you've done business with any of the sister agencies before, the disclosures, certifications, representations, and warranties are very much in line with the other sister agencies. You haven't been convicted of bid rigging, you don't owe child support, you don't owe any of the other sister agencies. Have you engaged lobbyists? If you have, who are they? Et cetera, et cetera. It also includes the IRS form. It includes the purchase order terms and conditions, very important. Oftentimes, depending upon the type of purchase from CCC, you may not have a full contract. So the purchase order terms and conditions that you complete, at the time of the vendor application, which are also reprinted on the PO, will just remind you of the governing terms and conditions. You will assign an acknowledgement of CCC's ethics orientation for contracts and vendors. Very standard language. You haven't essentially bribed anyone, promised anyone. No one on CCC side has received a gift or anything of that nature. And the NIGP commodity codes. As you can see from the information here, there's also the opportunity to receive payment by ACH. And if you have any additional questions about vendor forms, the link is at the bottom and they are available on our website. So some upcoming supplier initiatives. In order to streamline our proposal response or bid response, we are in preliminary discussions to use Bonfire to solicit proposals and bids. We are also in near final discussions to increase our threshold up to $10,000 without competitive bidding. So there has been an expressed desire from many of the colleges in the district office to increase that threshold that I talked about of up to $2,500 to $10,000 based upon, the increase of pricing for everything currently, and also based upon the need to procure goods and services without going through what is seen as the bureaucratic step of a bid recap. Often when there are only a limited number of vendors that can provide the goods or services, or that are willing to provide the goods or services based upon us being a government agency. What that means potentially is that for vendors offering goods or services, there is an increased opportunity for you to be able to provide your goods or services at a greater amount to City Colleges of Chicago, because multiple colleges will be able to get up to that $10,000 without going through the bid recap process. So, just so that you know, these are anticipated future procurement opportunities. We'll be going out for regalia, We'll be also going out for some staff augmentation for marketing, as well as staff augmentation for our Office of Information Technology. We currently have a pool of vendors, but this is a supplemental pool to cover some types of services that are not currently provided for in the pool based upon a prior RFP that we did in 2019. We'll also be going out for scavenger services. Some recent awards were sign language interpretation services awarded June 2nd, armored car. So sign language was a bid, armored car was a bid, and then room event scheduling systems, which is our software systems for scheduling, classes and events across the district and the colleges. That was an RFP that was awarded on May 5th, 2022. Some tips for success. Review our webpage on a regular basis just to make sure that you aren't missing any opportunities. Review our past competitive solicitations so you kind of get an idea of what we ask for. Our passport reports. We strongly encourage vendors to review those. If you see that, we went out for something in 2018 with an initial 2-year term, it had 2 1-year renewal options, and we're in 2022, that's a strong indication that, we'll be going out again to procure that good and services. Register as a vendor with CCC. You can't do business with city colleges without a PO, and you can't get a PO if you're not a vendor. So please make sure that you're reviewing the vendor application and submitting all documents, which includes the application, the W-9, the ethics statement, the conditions of purchase, and the economic disclosure statement. I should also mention the city colleges requires that any vendor seeking to provide goods or services has been in business for a minimum of 2 years. If you have not been in business for a minimum of 2 years and a college or department wants to utilize your goods or services, prior board approval is required. So if it's $20,000 and you've been in business for a year, they would have to go to the board first to seek approval. We also require that you are registered with the state of Illinois, and if you're a foreign entity corporation, that you are registered as a foreign entity. We encourage you to participate in pre-bid and pre-proposal conferences. Submit all required documents when responding to bids and proposals. We want you to be deemed responsive, and if it is an RFP, it will impact your score based upon the evaluation criteria. And of course, if you have any questions, please reach out to procurement. This slide is just a summary, a snapshot of some of the different goods or services that we procure. Because we are a district with 7 different colleges, as I mentioned earlier, we are going to procure some things that would be standard to any business, such as office furniture, computers, etc. And then we have some things that are unique to education as a whole, with the books and trade books, and some that are somewhat unique based upon the different colleges. For example, the medical and nursing supplies, and even the uniforms. Very briefly, our MWBE goals. So our MWBE goals are 25% MBE and 7% WBE. This will likely be updated and changed because we comply with the state statute. This goal is going to increase shortly, I believe, after we get board approval, but for the time being, it's 25 and 7. It applies to those contracts that are over $25,000. And much like the other sister agencies, these goals can be met through subcontracting, a joint venture, or in the prime level if the bidder or the proposer is a certified MBE or WBE. Only certified firms count toward the goal, and the certifications that we accept are set forth below. If you're certified as both the MBE or WBE, we can count one or the other, but not both. Let's see here. This is just some supplemental information of who you can contact within city colleges if you have any questions. I would encourage you to go to our procurement services, use our procurement services email address because that is an email address that we all have access to. And then again, please check out our website um, to answer any questions that will likely answer any questions that you may have. And we'll also address the topics that we've discussed this afternoon. And that's all I have.
Thank you so much. You can leave it right there.
Okay.
I won't have to upload my screen to
Okay.
another question, slide. Thank you, Jacinta. And again, like she said, we hope that this information can help individuals understand what you need to do, what you need to have, and where you need to go to find out about contracting opportunities with various sister agencies. I also am sending out through the chat area a little bit more information on where you can find copies of the PowerPoint, the presentation, and information about the vendor fair. As she said, we all use each other, our products with amongst each other, and services and facilities. And so we will be using one of City College's facilities at Malcolm X for the actual vendor fair. So with that said, I will open it for questions. If you have a question, feel free to put it in the Q&A panel. While we are going to see if anyone has any questions, I would like the ladies from CPS to take a turn, and then I'll let the city colleges go right after. If there's anything that you would like to add from the presentation that you gave, any tip, great information, you know, if they only get one thing out of your presentation today, if you would like to go ahead and say those things or reminders, or maybe it's something that you wanted to add to the presentation, but you thought it was a little too long, so you can add it now. So feel free to go ahead and open your mics and go ahead and say your last parting words to our folks. I'll let Valerie, yeah, I'll let Valerie go ahead and start first.
Hi, I don't have really anything to say other than if there was any questions that anyone had in the future, or if there's some assistance that they may need on applying for solicitation, they don't have the wherewithal or know which direction to go in. So please contact me. My email address was put in the beginning of the presentation. I'll also add it in the chat. That is exactly what I'm here for. So I'm here to provide support. So if anyone ever needs any.
Thank you so much, Valerie. And like I said, I hope to see all these ladies at our vendor fair as well, so that they can get to visit with you one-on-one and network with you. Jacinta, did you want to open your mic, and we'll come back to Patricia. I think she said she'll be right back.
No, I don't have anything else in particular to add. Like Valerie, I would just say that certainly if you have any questions, please reach out to us at procurementservices@ccc.edu. You can also email me, include me in the email. I am Epting4, that's JEPTING4 at ccc.edu. And I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have regarding vendor or supplier registration, MWBE questions, or direct you to a particular person if you have questions about how you might be able to offer your goods or services.
Right. Thank you so much. And I don't think we have any questions from the audience. So if Patricia, if she's back, She may not be.
Yeah, she's not back, but I'm representing both of us, so that's
Okay,
fine.
go ahead. All righty. So with that said, I am going to close out for today. And I want to thank our very important guest today for coming on from CPS, the Chicago Public Schools, and from CCC, City Colleges of Chicago. I definitely want to thank these ladies for imparting great information to us on how their procurement process works and what you need to know to be able to get involved if you are looking to do business with their entities. We all hope to see you at the vendor fair, August 25th. And if there are no other questions, I'll just say everyone stay safe, stay well, because we need you for August 25th to show up and network with us, because we have been for a long time doing these things on virtual and giving you information over emails and in different types of ways. This will be our first opportunity to do it in person, and we hope that you will be there. So stay safe, stay well, and we look forward to seeing you soon. Thanks so much, all of you, and take care and have a wonderful rest of your afternoon.
Thank you.
Everyone, thank you.
Thank you.
All righty. Bye-bye.